not seeking independence, or but within China, within People's Republic of China, meaningful autonomy.
All right, remember, this comes just on the back of the Prime Minister wishing the Dalai Lama just a few days ago on his birthday. How may Beijing respond? Let me now go across. We're opening this up to our full panel of guests. General Retired VP Malik, former Chief of Army Staff. Ambassador Anil Trigunyat, former diplomat, will be joining us. Aina Tangent is a political affairs commentator joining us from Beijing. And Dr. M.S. Pratibha, Associate Fellow at the IDSA, will also be joining us. General, let me start with you first, because this comes just a few days, General Malik, before the Corps Commanders meeting that's going to happen, I think on Sunday, either Saturday or Sunday, on the 17th, I believe. And it's going to be the 16th round of Corps Commanders talks. The fact that the Dalai Lama is going to Ladakh, and the very reason for why the Chinese attacked eastern Ladakh was because of the abrogation of 370, and they believe it's disputed, so on and so forth. How do you think the Chinese could likely respond to the Dalai Lama visiting Ladakh?
Good evening, Jaka. Firstly, I must mention here that Dalai Lama's visit to Ladakh was fixed and arranged long before the Chinese agreed to have 16th round of talks at the military level in Ladakh. So what had been arranged earlier for Dalai Lama to visit Ladakh, that came much earlier than the talks which are going to take place on Sunday. As far as these talks are concerned, let me also mention that we've had 15 rounds earlier, and there has been no genuine progress really for the last 2 years. And our troops on both sides, nearly 60,000 troops on either side, they continue to face each other. And there has been absolutely no progress as far as vacation of patrolling point 15 in Konkala, or Depsang Plain, or the position in Demchok. These have not changed. They have not agreed to vacate these. So there has been no progress. And as far as I am concerned, I think we've seen enough of bullying and appeasement of the Chinese, bullying from the Chinese side and appeasement. Okay. I think we have to look at this visit in a larger perspective than just military to military level talks.
Of course.
And therefore, I think there is, if there is any reaction, let that be. I think we can face that.
I also want to go across to Ambassador Anil Trigunyat. This is coming not in isolation, as General Malik said. We had just a few days ago the Prime Minister wishing Dalai Lama publicly, something that Prime Ministers previously never used to do. You have now the Corps Commanders meeting that's coming up on this weekend. Is there a sense that India is now being more assertive with allowing the Dalai Lama to go and visit Ladakh just ahead of those talks? India is being more assertive vis-a-vis Beijing, perhaps because it's realized that mollycoddling is not working, or perhaps there's also frustration that we've had, 15 rounds of Corps Commander talks and not much progress has happened.
No, you are so right. In fact, I think it is time that if we are not doing it, we ought to be doing it. But during these Galwan clashes, as you know, since then, India has shown to the Chinese that it can stand up to it at every fora and on the front. And therefore, the Chinese do understand very well. Now, these talks also became a continuation after Dr. Jaishankar and Wang Yi met on the sidelines of the G20 recent meeting of the foreign ministers. But I think that they all, and India has very clearly said that it has to be a package deal, and that they have to vacate all the premise, all the places where they are, and go back to the normal, whatever agreements have been done. But as far as China is concerned, they should be the last one talking about this, whether it is Dalai Lama visit to Ladakh or whether anything else that we do within our own country, whether on the G20, where we're going to hold those meetings, is our prerogative. So China absolutely has no say. Of course, they'll continue to make noises. And as far as this is concerned, you know that The Dalai Lama has just said that he wants his autonomy, and rightly so. I mean,
Correct.
since 1950, since the CPC or the Chinese PLA really went into Tibet and forcibly occupied it, so that remains an unsettled issue. India does not talk about it because we still believe in one China policy, but then they don't believe in one India policy because they all the time
Sure.
keep they are sitting on our territory of Jammu and Kashmir, which was parceled out to them by the Pakistani. They are sitting in Ladakh. They have been intruding everywhere, wherever they can. So borders have not been settled. So as far as India and China are concerned, I think they will be advised better not to talk about these things.
Okay,
Because
I
they
want to
just
go
go
across
back
to
to
Einar Tanjan as well. Interestingly, the comments that the Dalai Lama made when he was in Jammu today, he said, I'm not against the Chinese people and the Chinese people are not against me. What I'm seeking is merely autonomy, not independence from the People's Republic of China. How may these comments be viewed by the Chinese state in particular and the Chinese people?
Well, the Dalai Lama has long been an advocate for some sort of independence for Tibet. That's, he's outside of China. China repudiates that. India's already agreed twice that Tibet is part of China. As I said, he can say what he wants. Obviously, the political establishment wants to enlarge the playing field by throwing Tibet into the mix. But I don't think that it'll necessarily help with any kind of settlement of border issues. At this time, needling China or China needling India is not constructive. I think the best way is to reestablish trust. If you can do that, then there can be some progress. But at this juncture, after a number of years, trust is very short.
I don't know if you've seen these comments from Kevin Rudd, the former Australian Prime Minister, and he, as you know, Mr. Tanjan, is a big Sinophile. He said recently to an Indian newspaper that he expects Xi Jinping to make some dramatic gesture to reach out to India. He didn't go on to explain why, but many commentators are suggesting that before the 20th Party Congress, which happens later this year, Xi Jinping would want to settle this ongoing situation in eastern Ladakh, which has been going on for the better part of the last couple of years now.
Well, I think that's probably a mistake. I mean, the Beijing government tends to be long on planning. They're very cautious. They like to play out every scenario before they do something. And they're not the kind of establishment that just one man makes a decision and tries to do something. I mean, this has to be a collective decision. It would not be seen well within China or around the world if it's just, some sort of arbitrary gesture. So Kevin is, yes, very informed. He was Prime Minister of Australia, but I don't necessarily know that that's correct. I haven't seen anything or heard anything.
Dr. Pratibha,